It's like, yeah, all you do is sit around and smoke pot. Oh, wait, let's cut that.
Welcome back to Couch Potatoes. I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh, and I must say, before you say your thing, you might hear my dog squeaking her toy throughout the whole episode because she's really excited about it. So
that's okay. Is it a new toy?
Newer, yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, one of those toys that, like, we got it. It was a squeaker toy, you know. I was like, well, this will be cute. I typically hate those, but Zelda likes them. And so I brought it home, and she played with it for, like, 3 hours, lost it behind the bed. I didn't know anything about it. And then 3 weeks later, i.e. pretty much yesterday, I was cleaning the bedroom, and I was like, oh, here's that toy. And I threw it at her, and it's never left her mouth, so.
Nice.
She's looking all cute, though.
That's really cute. So the cute thing that's been going on with me this week is...
Well, who are you?
Oh, I'm the Faceless Leon, and I have IBS. This is...
Hi, Faceless.
Hi, Faceless. This is Green and Faceless on the Couch, a podcast about movies and TV. I've had a rough go of it this week, folks. I accidentally skipped out on my medicine one time this weekend, but it happened to be the same time that we went to a Mexican restaurant, and it was tasty. But I ordered...
Oh, that good fiber.
I ordered the shrimp chimichanga. And but like I didn't have problems that night. I feel like I was reading the menu, right, and I thought maybe that's a risk. And I mean everything's a risk at a Mexican dining facility, honestly. But I love Mexican food. And
once you hit 30, you have to really look at every single food item. Just be like, should I?
Should I eat that? And then you do. And anyhow, I was looking at the menu, and I knew I wanted a chimichanga, okay? Because I'm that person. And
it sounds fun.
And it sounds fun, yes. But it also is delicious best thing to order. And deep fried.
Yeah.
So
I like ordering the crazy things. You know, it's like if someone has crazy bread.
Yeah.
I'll always order the crazy bread.
Honestly,
but
my favorite thing at a Mexican restaurant is typically chili relleno. I think I said that wrong.
Yeah.
But it's a poblano pepper that's stuffed, and it's delicious. But, you know, that really doesn't do well.
Not at all.
Anyhow, I was looking at the menu, and I was like, okay, I'm going to order the one with the fajita chicken. That's probably safer. And then when she came around, I still ordered the shrimp. I still got the shrimp, off-season shrimp. Why'd I do
your
that?
Mouth didn't get the command. Your brain was like, hey, mouth, here's some words for you to say. And your mouth was like, no.
No. We want to taste the shrimp.
The stomach paid us off, motherfucker.
Why'd you want it, stomach? You can't deal with it.
Yeah, anyhow, knows no bounds.
We're here to talk about something more palatable than my bathroom agenda.
That's fair.
But
I will give it that. It is definitely more palatable than IBS. That is true.
Yeah.
Now, one of them is very more palatable.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be talking 2 films today.
Let's talk The Pale Blue Eye before The Banshees of Inisherin.
Yes, please. Yes.
Because
let's get The Pale Blue Eye out of the way.
Also, like, when they're set, they're both period pieces. But this one is set in America before that one is in Ireland. Well, off the coast of Ireland.
Right.
It's Ireland.
Yeah, and both of these films, I'd heard a lot about. The other film we're going to be talking about is Banshees of Inisherin. And both of these films I'd heard a lot about Banshees of Inisherin.
Oh, yeah.
There had been a lot of reviewers saying, like, they're fucking amazing, you gotta watch it.
I
and
was
I'm like,
excited
well, yeah, definitely.
for it.
I'll definitely watch it. Yeah, I was too. And I was excited for The Pale Blue Eye as well.
I was too.
Because it was a murder mystery. It's a gothic film. You got Christian Bale, who not only stars in it as the detective, the lead detective, Augustus
Landor.
Yes, that's a good name, too. Yeah. I like that name, Augustus Landor.
Especially the way really Harry Melling keeps on saying it. Landor!
Yeah. Landor! Oh my god, man! Yeah, and well, that's the other thing is it's not only starring Christian Bale, he's producing it as well.
Oh, really?
He really wanted to do this film with his friend Scott Cooper. Scott Cooper, I don't know him that much. I've seen one movie by him, and that's Black Mass with Johnny Depp.
I haven't seen that one.
And I walked away from Black Mass with this thought: damn, Johnny Depp was fucking brilliant. I don't remember that movie. Like that was my thought walking out of the theater.
Yeah,
I was just like,
there's a similar feel here. I see a trend.
Yeah, it's like, wow, this guy can really pull good performances from his people, but his stories are bland as fuck. Sorry, Scott Cooper. Like I do think there's a good story here. It's based off the novel by either Louis Bayard or Louis Bayard. It's the same title novel.
Right.
And basically, Augustus Landor is called in to solve a... Was he called in to solve the murder?
He was...
I can't remember.
Yes and no. I think they were more curious about what happened to this cadet post-mortem. Right.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Because what's going on is on this... is it Army base?
Yes, military? It is. I don't remember what the base is called, but it's one of the famous... I think it's West Point.
It is West Point.
Yeah.
How could I not forget West Point? Anyways, he's called in to solve this weird-ass murder where a man was found hanging, a cadet was found hanging with his heart removed from his chest.
That happened. So they took him to the infirmary, and then it happened overnight. So that was what was really weird about it.
Yeah, and the other part about it is that there's a guy who there was one witness who walked upon the guy hanging, but his feet were on the ground. It looked like he was kind of sitting, and then so he got scared. The guy wasn't responsive, so he ran away and to fetch a doctor, or to fetch help, or to fetch his commanding officer, whatever. And when he came back, that's when they found the guy was now properly hanging up in the air, and I was pretty sure it happened there, that the heart was removed there in the hanging.
I don't remember. I thought it was overnight.
I thought it was because, I thought it happened. I mean, everything happened overnight because it happened at night.
That's true.
And they came back in the morning. You know, that's when they called in Christian Bale's Augustus Landor, and so he starts to look into the case. Starts looking into why this guy was killed and who could have done it. And he gets help from a mysterious cadet, kind of an odd man.
Yep.
Edgar Allan Poe.
That's
played
right.
by Dudley Dursley.
That's right. We're furthering the fiction of Edgar Allan Poe, the real-life human being who wrote a lot of fiction and poems. And the last time we expanded on this was it just last week that we did the Wednesday episode?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
Well, here we are in January.
Right? We're doing it, man. We're doing it.
That's not a Poe
I didn't
poem,
talk much about...
be.
Yeah, we didn't talk much about Poe last time on Wednesday, but I will say here that he's one of my favorite authors. Like,
oh, me too.
I love horror, and he is the father of horror, basically, the gothic horror, like a lot of shit.
He is the first one.
Not the first.
I think he was the first author in that I could honestly say that I got into his work because of him. Like, you know, otherwise it was me picking up a cover and it's like, maybe I'll try this, you know.
Right. I never liked poetry until I read Edgar Allan Poe's poetry.
I am the same way.
And I know there's a lot of people out there who are just like, what in the fuck? Like, because his poetry's not like...
It's a story. Each of his poems are a story. He's just a good storyteller.
And I'll admit, I've read a lot better poems since then. I know that there are beautiful lyrical poems and everything, but when I first saw The Raven, when I saw the words and I just read it, it clicked. I loved it. I loved everything about The Raven. You know, it's so fucking beautiful. And then I did mention when we did Hunchback of Notre Dame, The Bells. That's my favorite poem of all time by Edgar Allan Poe. I fucking love The Bells. Brilliant. And his short stories, of course, you know, Fall of the House of Usher, fucking chilling. Yeah. I love that short story. A lot of things. And he also did one of the first detective stories, too. The Murders at the Rue Morgue, I think. not the first, but like one of the bigger, you know, like it got attention. And it's huge. It was a landmark for detective thriller. Maybe it was the first. I don't think it was. But
Craig,
I can't remember. Yeah, go.
We're publishing this episode on his birthday.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah, tomorrow is January 19th, and that's his birthday.
Holy shit! That's exciting. We did not plan that at all.
No, and we've been talking about him all month.
Sad.
It's so like his spirit reaching out.
He's touching me. Oh my gosh. Oh man. No, honestly, if I saw the spirit of Edgar Allen Poe, I don't need the telltale heart just going. Honestly though, if I did see the spirit of Edgar Allen Poe, I would probably be fucking terrified, even though I love his writing. The man looks a little off-putting.
He is.
Like he's got a stare. Yeah. But yeah, we didn't plan that. That's really exciting. I love that. But he again, here he's played by Dudley Dursley, Harry Melling. Sorry, Harry, you're a brilliant actor.
It's funny to me every time.
I know he's such a brilliant fucking actor, but he will always be Dudley Dursley to our generation. And he does a great fucking Poe here. I love everything he does about Poe. Because he is just as off-putting. He's got that glare, you know, with his eyes. Yeah. His eyes are like always wide and staring. Yeah. He barely blinks in this movie. Yeah. And it's like, it's so off-putting.
What was that movie?
You kind of also...
With Tom Holland that he was in? The Devil All the Time or something like that?
Yeah, it was The Devil All the Time.
Yeah. Yeah, he's good at...
Brilliant.
He does a very good Southern accent, too. I believe it. But
I'm waiting terribly for what's that Shakespeare movie Tragedy of Macbeth. I'm waiting terribly for that to be available outside of like Apple TV so I can watch it.
If it will, yeah.
He's in that. He plays Malcolm.
Oh, cool.
So like I really want to see it because I love the entire fucking cast in that. It just sounds like it would be right up my fucking alley.
It does look good.
Brilliant actor. The best thing about this movie, let's be entirely honest, is Harry Melling. Like his Poe is really good, and
the way that he and Bale play off of each other is really good.
It's
too.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
and Bale does a really good. His detective Augustus is kind of is he an alcoholic? I can't remember if he is an alcoholic. Yeah, he does drink a lot.
But so does Poe.
He's older,
and that's accurate.
Yeah, it's true. That's very accurate. But like, and Augustus is like, you can tell there's something in his past it's sad. He's a very like sad feeling man. He's got like a heavy life.
There's some flashes too that they show when he's contemplating,
specifically about his daughter. Yeah. His daughter,
Bonnie.
I don't remember her name.
I don't remember.
Maddie. Was it Maddie?
It's somebody named Landor.
Oh, it was Matilde.
Yeah.
And I don't remember who plays Matilde. Sorry,
I do think that it is Maddie, though. I think that was her nickname.
Oh, okay.
And it was Hadley Robinson.
Thank you. Yeah. And from all we know, she's run away. Poe, Augustus, whenever anybody asks about her, he only says she's gone. She
ran off.
Left me. She's run away. Yeah, ran off. And that's all he'll go into it. So it's like there's something dark there. There's something brooding, and I feel so bad because I love Poe, but like I'm gonna be shitting on this movie because as the mystery unfolds, as more murders happen. There's only 2 more murders, honestly. Like there's not really a mystery here.
Yeah, the mystery is what are these people doing with these body parts that are being harvested?
Right.
And it leads to occult things. Edgar Allan Poe's first words to Landor are, "You're looking for a poet." But really...
Yeah,
but really the symbols... Yeah, I did love that. Because he said, like, the heart is a symbol. That's why he believed that. But really, what it turns out to be is that, yes, it's a symbol, but it's a magical symbol for these rituals that are going on. So that's the weird stuff that they uncover. I think it had so much potential. Like, the thing is, like, it had so much potential, and once they got to the climax with the burning building and all that and stuff, I was like, okay, I guess this is the end of the movie. I thought there'd be more leading up to this. And then there's that third act, that last part.
And my problem is, like, I did not call it. You know, I didn't know precisely. I didn't know precisely what the twist would be. Yeah. You know, but my problem was, as the mystery is getting solved, it tunnel visioned so fucking hard that even though I didn't know precisely what the mystery was, I knew they were presenting a red herring during that climax scene, during the burning bush and everything. Because as it's happening, I'm like, no, if this is the answer, then it's just like, this movie's getting a half a star because this is the most boring mystery ever. Because they started tunnel visioning on this specific individual, this family, so early in the mystery, like really early.
Yeah.
And the movie was presenting them too as being like, look at them, something's off about them, huh? And I'm just like, the whole time I'm like, this clearly isn't the answer. So I was very annoyed sitting through a climax that you're not supposed to be annoyed during. Yeah. You're supposed to be excited and enthralled. I got that. And I'm just like,
I understood the family's motivation for what they're doing. I don't want to get into that too much, because I do want to talk about the characters, because I also thought that they were well portrayed. But there just wasn't enough. Like, it's like, okay, this doesn't make sense with everything that the story has presented so far necessarily. And that's because there's this twist that goes on. But I don't know. It's really hard because I don't want to give it away. I don't know if I necessarily recommend the movie, but it is a mystery, and it's not fun to spoil a mystery movie.
Well, here's what I'll say is, like, I don't want to give away the mystery because I think the book has the potential. Sure. I feel like all the potential that we saw in this movie might be in the book. Because my biggest thing was, they really should have made Poe feel like he could have been the killer. Like, because he mentions that right off the bat, where he's like, you're looking for a poet. Right. And I'm like, ooh, is this going to be setting up maybe that Poe is crazy and killing people? Like, 'cause I like this. This is really intriguing. It doesn't have to be the answer, but if they play that route, I'm going to be very intrigued.
Right. I think that would be a much more interesting red herring. Definitely.
So, and I'm thinking maybe the book will tell the story specifically from Augustus's viewpoint, and maybe Augustus will suspect Poe. You know, maybe he'll be like, I don't know how much I can trust this guy, because the very first thing he told me was, you're looking for a poet, and then I find out later he's a fucking poet. Like, like maybe there's good intrigue there, but the movie just drops it quick. It makes Poe into his Watson character, and the two are like buddy trying to solve this whole thing.
And I thought that still had a lot of potential too.
Yeah, agreed.
And their chemistry, like I said earlier, was pretty great. I do want to mention the good doctor, Toby Jones.
Yes.
Dr. Daniel Marquise. He is the doctor stationed at West Point to, keep the boys in good health. And his son is a cadet named Artemis Marquise, and Landor gets Poe to become buddy with because some clues are leading them towards his group of friends, which also includes Randolph Ballinger and Stoddard, played by Fred Heckinger and Joey Brooks.
Yes.
And they're like the bad boys. And I think seriously, like a little, I really thought that they were going to be a gay group, but that never happened.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
No, we don't have interesting in this plot, sadly. Here's another big issue with this plot too, is again, it all takes place at West Point. They're all wearing pretty much the exact same uniforms because it's the fucking military. And, so a lot of these characters, you mentioned them all, and I can remember who they are based on the context of the movie.
Right.
They're all one note, except for Harry Melling, who stands out because of his creepy-ass stare. Here's the cast list. Cadet Marcus, Cadet Stoddard, Cadet Huntoon, Cadet Cochrane, Cadet Ballinger, Cadet Lee, Cadet Hamilton, Cadet cadets. Fry, Cadet Lauro. It's awful. Have some kind of diversity or something, if only in the naming of your cast, something. Well,
most of them have first names.
Yeah, it doesn't help. It doesn't help when they're still listed as cadet.
I get it. Yeah, they all go to this fucking at the school. Yeah,
yeah.
So
it doesn't. The cast list doesn't say Detective Augustus Landor or it does say Cadet Edgar Allan Poe. Let's be honest. But
it does. Yeah, and
they don't all need their fucking title.
And Captain Hitchcock, played by Simon McBurney, and Superintendent Thayer, played by Timothy Spall. Yes.
That's the good one. I do love Timothy Spall. Yeah. He was hard to pinpoint for me. He looks very much the same, and yet he looks very clean cut. Yes. And I was just like, for a while, I'm looking at him, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I remember. You're also from Harry Potter. Yeah. I remember you now. And so is Toby Jones.
That's true. Wait.
Yeah, he plays Dobby.
That's right. He's
the voice of Dobby.
Shit. Okay.
Oh, my God.
So, we also have...
one.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say one last individual, or I guess there's two more individuals, but they're also part of the Marquis family. Yes. Toby Jones' wife, the great and beautiful Gillian Anderson.
That's right.
Who I thought was criminally underutilized in this movie.
But I love the fucking character, dude. Whatever the fuck she was doing, it was hilarious.
Yeah, she acted like... I feel like she just didn't know what she was to do. She was just like, oh, you're only going to be directing Christian Bale and Harry Melling? Got it. I'll just be drunk for the whole movie, I guess.
It was great.
I did not know. Yeah, it was good. It was good. I feel like she might have been on laudanum or some kind of that kind of an opiate drug.
Yeah,
the character. Not Gillian.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the wife of Toby Jones' character. And then they had a daughter, I think, named Leah.
Mm-hmm, that's right.
Lucy Boynton.
That's right.
Who has also epileptic?
Yeah, she does have epilepsy. But it's early enough that they don't know what it is really.
Right.
They call it
1800s.
They call it a falling sickness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Edgar Allan Poe and Leah do kind of start up this little love interest thing. But I don't know if it was necessary. It made... I do think...
It could have been.
It could have been, yeah. The only thing it did, and it was just at the end of the movie, he's just... There wasn't enough of them together for how angry Poe is at the end of the movie, based off with his situation with Leah. That's what I'll say.
But damn, I love that. I do like that final scene.
The
even
final
though I'm not
scene
really...
is good. Yeah. I was like, all right, this movie, whatever. It's
right.
whatever. And then that final scene unfolds. I don't want to say anything about the scene, but that final scene unfolds, and you're like, oh shit, okay, that's what they were doing the whole time.
Yeah.
And
I'll say about it, that final scene, even though it did have that feeling that oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
And I love the acting. The acting is incredible during that scene. It's really good. But the whole time, as everything's as it's all unfolding, as you're learning the twist, I'm just like, I don't care. This is textbook.
Yeah, it is textbook.
It's just
I'll call it that for sure.
You find out certain facts about certain characters. And I'm like, I'm guessing they did this mischievous act. And he's like, they did this mischievous act. And I was just like, all right, yeah, you guys didn't really swing for the ballpark on this one. You just went for the easy knife stab, you know, ha, gotcha. Aren't you sad now?
Everything about this story, I think, is great. The problem is the way the story was unfolded in front of us. The performances were great, and I don't, directing's a hard job. So
yeah, it is.
I can't I can't really blame it all on Scott Cooper. I mean, he did also write it, so maybe I can.
Yeah. And produce it.
Well,
no, I don't want to give it all the blame on him too, but I do feel like there could have just been a better way a more gripping way to tell this story.
Yeah.
Maybe with more flashbacks, so that when the twist happens, you're feeling more involved in it. You're like, I was prepared for this. I knew that fire wasn't the ending. Like you're excited, because it's like there's something more to the mystery that you weren't expecting.
It felt so concluded after that scene, which I did like in a way, because of what certain people's goals were in the movie. I did like it for that, but it just, I don't feel like it was quite, it wasn't quite put forward right. At least not for me. It wasn't
properly grasped.
Yeah. Closing statements.
So I guess, I mean, I've honestly said all I needed to say. It was not enticing to me. I was very disappointed. It was pretty sad. I only give it 2 stars. I will mention that it has rising Democratic star John Fetterman making a cameo with his wife, which was hilarious to me because I love that man's look. If you haven't looked at what John Fetterman looks like he does not look like he should be in modern day politics. He just looks like he should be in 1800s politics, and it's fucking perfect for a period piece. He does. When I saw him pop up, I know it's good, and he's rising Democratic star. You see him, and that's his suit. He doesn't wear the normal suits that you would expect to see in politics. I'm like, this is a good guy. This is down to earth. The kind of politician we should have. I don't really know much about him. I'm not gonna, But
he's a human being instead of
he comes off very much more human. Yeah. So I thought that was funny when he made an appearance. I was just like, is that John Fetterman?
That's really funny.
I had to look it up and be like, oh, it is John Fetterman. That's hilarious. It was really funny. But yeah, I only give it 2 stars.
I will upfront say it's a face, and I think I was gonna give it a face before the ending came around. I was disappointed. The ending redeems it a little bit more. I was expecting a lot more from this movie, but the performances are pretty choice. It's just the story doesn't quite grab me for some reason. That's what I'll say about it. It had all the right pieces, and I think that's why it's disappointing.
Right, it really did. I feel that way with a lot of Poe adaptations. Is I'll finally watch it and just be like,
John Cusack movie. I don't even remember.
Oh my god, dude! Yeah, that one was so sad.
Oh man,
I don't remember what it's called.
I don't either. I just remember John Cusack sitting on a bench.
I remember the fucking pendulum scene. That's all I remember.
Oh, jeez, that's right. Yeah, I didn't even remember the plot until you mentioned that.
Yeah, it's not the pit and the pendulum, right? That's not what it's called.
The pit and the pendulum. Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I knew it was based off of that, or I knew because of the pendulum scene. I was like, I think that's in there, but I didn't remember if it was actually called that.
Yeah. We'll have to do that movie next January.
No, it was The Raven. It was The Raven. That's what it's called. Yeah. Where he plays Edgar Allen Poe.
The movie's called The Raven. I gotcha. I was like, no, the pit and the pendulum is not in The Raven, Greenie.
The good old director James McTeague, who I'm finding out was an assistant director on Star Wars 2. But he made his directorial debut with V for Vendetta, so he's got some good shit in his bank. He was also on the Matrix movies. He was an assistant director.
Cool,
interesting. The more you know.
Well, that's for next January. Turned around and made
the Raven.
We're gonna not stop talking about Ravens and goth shit, and we're gonna talk about Banshees. But first,
Banshees of Ireland.
First, we're gonna take a soda pop break. Whatever we do.
Get yourself hydrated, folks. Hydrate or dihydrate. I love you.
Okay, I'm back in this room. Where this thing is happening.
Good. Let's talk dark, tragic comedies.
Yeah.
That's what this is billed as.
Yeah, I can see it as that. I definitely busted my gut a couple times.
Dude, I was laughing so hard, even at the saddest scenes, the weirdly sad scenes. That's the thing about Martin McDonagh. This is coming from Martin McDonagh. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your last name.
It might be
McDonagh. Yeah, he's done quite a lot of interesting stories. 7 Psychopaths, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, which is just, that wins an award for hilarious name. In Bruges, he did In Bruges or In Bruges, however you pronounce that. I'm sorry. Wait, maybe he didn't do In Bruges. Let me look this up before. Oh no, he did In Bruges. Yeah, so this is only his 4th film. Okay, so I just named all of them. Interesting. I thought I had missed some films along the way. But no, he's brilliant. He's got a very weird way of touching upon the darkest of emotions and doing so in a way that you're laughing throughout most of it and very intrigued because 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, I can't honestly tell you what exactly that movie about. I believe it was Frances McDormand's kid had passed away or was killed or something. And remember that? You remember that movie?
Yeah.
And then she starts renting all the billboards.
Yeah, I can't recall. I just remember liking it quite a bit, but I have no recollection of the movie at all.
Yeah. Yeah, we have another movie. This one pairs honestly really well with Pale Blue Eye.
Yeah, it does.
Where we have another director who does a really good job at pulling out great performances.
Oh yeah.
Because that again with Scott Cooper, to give him credit, the performances he got out of Harry Melling and Christian Bale is great. And Martin McDonagh, he always does that. And he did that with Frances McDormand in 3 Billboards, 7 Psychopaths. I don't even remember the cast, but they're all fucking great.
Colin Farrell.
Was Colin Farrell in that one?
I'm pretty sure he's the main character. Let me pull it up.
Was it him? Yeah. I haven't seen that movie since it came out, and I feel like it came out fucking 10 years ago now. Oh, it was actually 10 years ago. It was 2012. Damn it. Yeah, it's Colin Farrell, Sam Rockwell, Woody Harrelson, Christopher Walken, Tom Waits, huge cast.
We should just do those movies and do a director focus sometime. 7 Psychopaths and the Billboard movie.
That'd be a lot of fun. I really would enjoy that. And In Bruges if we want to do a threesome.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I know, right? But here with his latest, The Banshees of Inisherin, I honestly think this might be his best, because I've loved all of his films. I'm sure a lot of people might contest it. The guy gets a lot of love for all of his movies, but here we're on an island off the coast of Ireland.
Yeah, Inisherin.
Yeah, and it's in the early 1900s.
It's 1920s. It's during 1920s. One of the Irish Civil Wars. And yes, the island of Inisherin though is pretty shielded from what's going on the mainland.
But they hear it.
They definitely hear it. It's not that far off the coast.
No. And I will say it makes for a beautiful backdrop because you never see it really. Yeah, it's there. You see some smoke, maybe a ship. That's about it. It's really well done, and the funny thing is, everybody, whenever they talk about it in this movie, they always bring up the fact that they don't really know what they're fighting for anymore, do they?
No, they don't.
And lo and behold, the whole main story is about 2 guys
that just
played by Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson, who just don't know why they're fighting anymore.
Well, so...
one of them does.
One of them thinks he does, anyways.
One of them thinks he does.
Colin Doherty. I can never say that name
Doherty.
Right. Brendan Gleeson's character, he decides one day that he just does not want to deal with his lifelong mate, Patrick Sullivan, anymore. That's Colin Farrell's name. Patrick. I've always liked that. I
love
name.
The fucking names too.
Yeah.
Colm Sunny Jacobs or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't remember Colm's full name.
Yeah, it was Colm Sunny Doherty. Yeah, I can't say that name.
Colm Sunny Larry. It was Colm Sunny Larry.
That's what it was, yeah. and he
Cool
never
Sonny
has,
Larry
and he
Doherty.
never has news. So yeah, there's this like, so they go to the mainland for supplies sometimes, just to this one store, and this one lady just wants to have news about the island, and she's always complaining that Pedrick, Shaban, his sister, played by Carrie Condon, and Colum never give him any news. They never give her any news. I
will say up front that is one of this film's kind of setbacks, but I'll explain why it's not really a setback. But it does only have like 2 female characters, and that's the news lady, the one who's always asking for the news, and his sister Shaban, like you just mentioned. Like they're the only ones. But the point of that is, this entire movie is about male loneliness, and how men just like really struggle to express their emotions and their ability to like get out of themselves.
Yeah.
And like it's really well focused upon too, because it's just like Colum. I struggle. Colum is so hard to say. Colum. Yeah, well, that's the thing is like, and even in this movie, every single person says the names differently. One calls them Colum, Sonny, Larry, and another person says Colm, and then another person says Colum, and then you have Padraig, Padrak. Like everybody says all the fucking names differently, and I'm just like, Jesus, you're not helping me. Anyways, Colum. He's decided he wants to do something with his life,
right?
And he feels like he's spending way too much time with this the local idiot Patrick. So he's just like, I want to write music. I want to I am a good fiddle player.
He's a fiddler? Yes.
Yeah. And he was just like, I want to write this beautiful song, and I want to be something. So I want to be remembered.
At first, he just drops Pedrick. Like Pedrick,
right?
Like comes and knocks on his door near 2 almost every day to bring him to the pub, and he just didn't answer that day. And he's like, "Okay, well, maybe I'll meet you down there." And finally, he just gets it out of Colum because he's like, you just don't want to be my friend anymore? What the fuck does that mean? He's like, what did I do to you? And he's like, it's really not you, Pedrick. I just think you're incredibly dull, and I just don't have the time for it anymore. Oh
my God.
Yeah. And he's like,
it's so funny, but so sad.
He's like, I just thought I was nice. Just nice, normal chatting. And he's like, no, it's dull chatting.
Everybody knows me.
It's dull.
You told me about the consistency of your donkey shit the other day.
It was my pony shite.
For 2 hours. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Patrick does have quite a lot of animals, some ponies, and then a donkey that he loves very much, Jenny.
A miniature donkey.
Lets her into the house. Yeah.
And Shaban hates it. Cute. Shaban, she doesn't hate the donkey. She hates that he keeps on letting the donkey in the house.
Because it poops everywhere.
Yeah. And she's like, it's stringy shite everywhere. And he's like, it was straw.
It's not stringy. It's straw. God, it's so good. It's so funny, and then at the same time, you get so deep into these guys who, like, I don't think they work. They just probably farm or something. Like, I don't think they have anything to do.
They might be like just kind of self-sufficient islanders, which is cool.
Beautiful.
I mean, you just can't do that nowadays. I don't know how Inisherin.
Let's buy an island.
Yeah.
We'll start a Kickstarter. Help us buy an island so we can get out.
We'll put a link to that in the description. So, yeah, we talked a bit about Shaban, but let's say a bit more. She's probably the smartest person on the island besides Colum, maybe. Yeah. Colum thinks he's quite smart anyways.
He's really not.
I mean, to do what he does, he's not very smart. He's extreme anyways. But Shaban is extremely well read. And Yeah, and she only deals with the people on the island because she loves her brother so much, and they take care of each other so well. But
she gets a lot
cute.
Of hassle for being a spinster, if you will.
She does, but that's because she doesn't like anybody.
Exactly. And this island is hard to, even though I love the idea of the island, because, I've always wanted to just, like, move to the area and just live in a village kind of thing. Like, nice little house in a by itself somewhere. You walk down the pathway. I love that. It's beautiful over there. I know it's not all like that, but a lot of it is still, which is nice. But it's just like, I understand where she's coming from, because when you're pent up on this island with these people who don't really do anything all day but drink.
They just drink and talk all day. Yeah.
Yeah. And like eventually, and most of them, of course, are men again. Like there are women on this island, but we don't see a lot of them.
We don't see a lot of them, and the ones we do, they don't really have lines.
They're just there. Yeah. They play music. Listen to music.
I can't remember what the one woman's name is. I think it's Mrs. McCormick. I don't know, because a lot of the pictures are missing from IMDb. But the woman who plays the one who the old woman.
The Banshee, would you say?
I thought they were the Banshees, being Pedrick and Colm.
Oh no, she's definitely, because not to spoil things, there's a moment where Colm says that Banshees no longer scream; they just sit back and take in everything, and they like watch, and they're all and she is there every single scene. Pretty much, she is there watching. Yeah, and I'm like, you're the Banshee of Inisherin. I see you.
I don't know.
Maybe they are the Banshees too. There's so many ways to take it.
Yeah, I don't know too much of the lore around Banshees. Besides that, they're screaming. Right. Typically, it's associated with a dead girl in a well or something. But maybe they're also harbingers of doom, because she definitely plays that role in this movie.
Oh yeah, she does that. She does that with so much happiness too.
So much glee.
You are right. It is.
Yeah.
It is Mrs. McCormick. I'm pretty sure it's Sheila Flitton.
Yeah, she's cool.
Very fun character. Yeah. And it's so funny. Everybody like attacks her too, because she'll say something to Colin Farrell, and he's just like, "Shut up,
go away." He's like, like he keeps on complaining about Colin, and Mrs. McCormick happens to be over there visiting Siobhan, and she says, "Why don't you go to the pub now and get out from under our feet?" And he says, "Why? You don't like Mrs. McCormick." Whenever she comes down the street, you hide behind the bushes. And she just kind of looks over at her. Yeah.
I love that shot of her just like...
It's so good. Speaking of the pub, the pub is run by John Joe Devine, which that's just a good name. And that's played by Pat Short. And,
also a good name.
Also a good name. And he's friends with everybody on the island because he's the guy with the booze. And so he's like kind of mediates between Pedrick and Colm. Right. A little bit, but also there's this one point. So Colm gets so fed up that he threatens Pedrick that he will cut off his fingers, one for each time he bothers him. His own fingers from his left hand, his fiddling hand. He will cut off his own fingers if he bothers him again. And when he tells him that, John Joe's like, "That was crazy. Leave him alone." But we're on your side, Pedrick. Don't worry.
And that's the funny thing too, is like when he gives that threat, when you're watching it, when you're watching this film, at least when I was watching it, I was just like, man, that's a hilarious threat, but it's so empty. Like, you're not going to do that. Because I didn't know anything about this movie. But to spoil things, he does.
That's it. Because Pedro just won't leave him alone. Crazy. He just won't.
And it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I remembered I was looking I wanted to see what most audiences' opinions were, so I was like looking at like brief reviews of what audiences were saying. There was one person who was just like, I don't fucking understand. Why would he cut off his own fingers if he just wants to write music? How is that going to help him write music? And I'm like, that's the fucking point of the movie, is men are fucking stupid. Yeah.
It's about pride to a certain extent.
Yeah, after a while, it just becomes about that. And like, it's so, it's really well done. Really, I thought it was hilarious.
Also, Colin throughout the movie is dealing with some very deep despair. David Pierce plays this priest. Yeah, the priest scenes are so fucking funny.
The priest is so good.
It's so good.
I love the priest, man.
Yeah, so they go to confessional a lot, and I can't describe all these scenes, but it was so, just all the confession scenes are so funny.
I love when he's just like, well, don't you think it's sinly too to be treating Patrick the way you're doing?
Yeah.
And he's just like, Colm just looks at him, he's like, Patrick may have told me to slip in a nice word about him.
Yeah.
I just fucking lose it. I'm like, you're supposed to be a priest.
You're supposed to keep that to yourself.
Oh, man. He's just so caught up in the gossip, too, just like everyone else.
Yeah. So we really have to talk about one other character for sure, and his father. But Dominic Kearney, I think that's how you say, maybe Kearney, played by Barry Cohen. Cohen?
I always said Keegan, but I'm not sure.
Maybe it is Keegan. I don't know. Sorry. But we talked about him most recently in The Eternals.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I was thinking the Batman as the Joker.
That might have been more recent. That's true.
Yeah.
That might have been more recent.
Yeah,
we really didn't talk about him much in that. But anyhow, Dominic is this kid on the island who is, he's perceived as a bit of a troublemaker, always drunk, and...
Yeah. Very loud.
Very loud. And his dad is like the only police officer. Pater.
God.
Pater, played by Gary Lydon.
And I feel like the first time we're introduced to him too, he's naked in a chair, I'm pretty sure.
No, there's one scene where Colin Farrell walks past him and says, well, hello, Officer Kearney.
That's right.
And he doesn't do anything. Yeah, he never says hi. Never. It's so funny.
Oh, my God.
But yes, the next time we see him, he is naked in a chair, and Dominic says, Dad'll kill us if we wake him after he's been wanking.
We got to be quiet. Yeah, I really do love Barry Keoghan. Like, I think he's a very intriguing actor.
Yeah, I think he's gonna go far, I think.
Yeah. His characters, though, are always, like, mildly off-putting or, like, unlikable. Like, there's always an unlikable quality about them, and Dominic's is that he's a bit of a sleaze.
Yeah, like, I don't blame him for it, though, because of his father. Like,
right.
There's like this weird, definitely super abusive relationship between them that I'll save for the viewer, I think. But yeah.
But like, I don't know, still his treatment of Siobhan at times, like, I get that she's like, she understands where it's coming from and she knows it's friendly humor, but at the same time, and it's the 1920s again. I'll give it that pass. I know it's more of a period.
I don't know how young Dominic is supposed to be.
That's another problem I had with it. Was just like I was always put off by this character, mainly because he's mildly unlikable. But when you find out more about him, you start to care more for him. Yeah. But yeah, I could never tell if he was supposed to be a teenager or a young adult, and I'm just like the whole movie I was still like just slightly confused. Right. I'm like, how fucking old are you supposed to be?
Right. Like, he is in love with Siobhan though, and it is sweet and tragic, and so he's perceived as this big idiot, but when he has dinner with Patrick and Siobhan, he reveals through just odd things that he says, that he knows things about the world that at least Pedrick doesn't. And that's one thing that he's really worried about at this time, is that he's perceived as an idiot by his friend Colum, and that's why they're not friends anymore. So it was so funny.
But you do get a nicer side to Dominic then.
Yes.
You know, you do see a little more into his psyche, and he is also he does try to be a good ear for Pedrick. You know, most of the times he just blows him off, but there are other times where he's just like, well, why don't you tell me? You know, why don't you actually, what's going on? Like, you know, he wants to know. There is a nice side to him. But yeah, it's just fucking good cast, man. It's such a good cast. This island is so hilarious. Like, I really enjoy it.
I think I want to watch it again.
Yeah, I definitely do. I feel like I do. It had a lot of good stuff, and I love the ending. I think the ending is just fucking brilliant, because it does, again, it's kind of, you know, it does one of the things I usually hate, because I want a happy ending usually, and I hate when people go for like the realistic tragic ending, but the humor of the ending still, because there is a lot of humor in it, was so good that I didn't care that I was sad. Yeah. I was just like, yep, that's how this should end. Like, there's no better ending for this, I would feel. Good shit all around. Like, I really love it. I'm ready to
closing statement. Yeah, close it. Get it.
I give it 4 stars. Like, it's fucking fun. Yeah,
it's good. I loved it. I'll give it a face and a half. It's a fun movie. Also tragic, and I also like tragedy, so it really worked for me in a lot of ways. I spent the whole movie mad at Colum, which really, like, one, you know, round of applause to Brendan Gleeson for that. But also, like, I just really sympathized with Pedrick. Like, it's like,
plus,
I thought I was a good friend, and then you're like, fuck you.
Right. It's in the way Colum churns Pedrick too, because, like, again, like, as we've said before, Pedrick's the nice guy. Yeah. But, like, as this goes on, a whole new side of Pedrick comes out, and it's really sad. Like, it's so good and so sad. Yeah. But I also do want to say that I just remembered that Colin Farrell was also in the Batman. Yes, he was.
That's funny. I doubt they met on set though, because I
doubt it. Like, that. Barry's was definitely like, I'm in the shop for like 30 minutes to an hour. Let's get this done.
Get paid for the day.
Like, yeah, but like I do enjoy. I do think I think that's hilarious that Colin Farrell went from the Penguin to this. So it's like, it's 2 wildly different roles. Like,
yeah, definitely. Didn't he?
Amazing.
Excuse me. Didn't he put on some weight for the Penguin?
I think it was mostly prosthetic, but he might have
maybe not much.
Some weight,
because he looked really good in this. As always.
Yeah, very very fit, handsome man. Sorry, objectifying Colin Farrell.
Sorry, Colin. Good performances all around. Carl. Great movie, as we said. Obviously, I think from what we said, this movie beats out.
It's
got The Pale Blue Eye.
It's got so much to say about male loneliness that, like, again, I'm non-binary, but, like, you know, I spent 20 years of my life identifying mostly as male, 20 plus-ish. Right. But, like, there's a lot, I've felt a lot of loneliness, and, you know, it's ingrained pretty much from birth, basically, to
internalize.
I mean, I don't want to say my parents were like, you know, my parents were always wanting us to talk to them. You know, they always wanted us to open up and express. Like, I had beautiful fucking parents.
But you also have the rest of the world and media.
Yeah, exactly.
Influencing you. Yeah.
Yeah. And, like, you know, that's the beauty of this movie, is it's got a lot to say about that. And I think it says it really fucking well. Like, a lot of it really sang with me. And I will admit that there were times watching this where I was like, man, what if someday Blake is just like, I don't want to be friends with you because you're dull and boring.
Yeah, like, I could not imagine. That's what I was thinking too. It's like, all you do is sit around and watch TV all day. Why do I want to be friends with you? You're the one who wanted to do this podcast. What are you talking about?
Dude, I didn't do anything this weekend. I literally, I hung out with some friends on one night. But for the most part, I literally just like was on my couch and playing with my dog and watching TV. And
nice. I
started some video games, and that was about it. And it's just like when I watched Banshees of Inisherin, I was just like, oh no. I feel like I'm a stupid individual, and I feel like I'm definitely pretty dull. I didn't do anything this weekend. What if my friends all will just like up and be like, we're done with you. You're boring as fuck.
Seriously though,
if you fucking talk to us, we'll cut off our fingers.
Yeah, I'm so tired of fucking talking with you. I'm gonna give you my whole fucking hand.
I do feel like maybe if I able to live to 80 years old, like if we're both 80 and we're like both living in the same retirement home or whatever, I might one day just come up to me like, I'm no longer your friend.
Don't sit next to me in the cafeteria. You know how
I will eat my own pudding by myself.
Oh shit!
And you're just I know we talked so much about this movie already, but I forgot that the first time he tells him that he doesn't want to be friends, the next day Colm like turns the calendar and it was April 1st, and he's like, oh, that's why.
That's it. Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. Like they come into the bar. And Dominic follows them and John Joe's like, you've been banned. And he says, no, you said until April. And he says, all right, then get out. And he says, but it's turned April.
Oh my god, go watch it, everybody. Yeah. I know we spoiled so much of it. Go watch it. We honestly didn't spoil enough of it.
Yeah, you can catch it on HBO Max. I don't know if it's still in theaters, but
and you can catch us on YouTube, on Podbean,
Spotify,
on Apple things,
all the places where you could get the podcast. We will probably be there, and if we're not, tell us and we'll fix it. But you can also
we
find
only
more
respond.
content.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say we only respond to patrons.
No, that's not true. I'm trying, but honestly, there hasn't been that many comments, so I forget to check from time to time, and then I'll come back and your mom will have watched like 20 episodes and said, "Good job."
I love her.
I do too.
She's adorable.
I do.
But yeah, you can join her and other patrons down at patreon.com/Green and Faceless.
You sure
can. You get good extra content there. We put out an extra episode every month called Bangers and Hash.
That's right.
With our new scheduling, we will be taking the last week of the months off.
That's right.
And it'll be in that week that you'll get Bangers and Hash. So if you find that you're missing out one week and you're just like, man, I really miss Green and Faceless, like they're not here this week. Yeah. If you just go down to patreon.com, you get that extra episode and you won't miss us for a week.
That's right. We usually try to go a little over an hour talking about new movies and TV that we watched. And also, if you go on down there, you get to vote on the Potato Pick, another monthly episode, but that's for the public.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I think we did the show.
First Thursday of every month. We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
And I am the Faceless Leon. Farewell, safe travels, and good night. Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of FictionWorks 19. Are you a fan of the show? Feel free to contact us at greenandfacelessfans@gmail.com or visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/greenandfaceless. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, or rate us on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for listening.